ध्याता मंत्रधरैर्वृता सृजति या बुद्धिं प्रकृत्या शिवाम् आरम्भैस्थिरचिन्तनैर्मतिमतां सिद्धिप्रवाहो यत दृश्ये भ्रम्यति देशकालविवृते विश्वस्थितिर्वायया सा शक्तिर्निखिलाण्डकोटिसवितुर्व्याख्यातु नस्तत्पदम् आधानाद्विदितप्रभावविसरो विश्वस्य यो मूर्तिमान् कालं यस्य जगद्विसृष्टिकरणं कार्यार्थरूपं विदु माने हेतुरयं च भेदनिलयो देशो यदालम्बना तस्मै ध्वस्ततमो घनाय महसां ताताय तुभ्यं नमः। सत्यासत्यविवेचकः स भगवान् धर्मो विधानध्रुव कल्याणार्थकरो हरेर्जनिमताम् अन्तर्विमानोद्यमी प्राणत्राणपरायणस्थितिमतां रुद्रोऽपि कामार्तिहा धर्मार्थे क्षणकारणस्य जगत शास्तस्तवैतें शव रूपं ते वियदुत्तमं कृतिमती शक्तिः परातापसी जातं सर्वमजण्डकं तु युवयोरन्योन्यतादीपकम् शान्तिः सर्वसमापि भूतकरुणा न त्वां विहातुं क्षमा सर्वात्म्यं भजतस्तवेश महिमा सीमानमुल्लङ्घते श्लिष्यन्ति गहनाम्बरं रहसि ते शक्तिः शरीरं विभो प्रेम प्रश्वसितेन वां वितनुते सर्वत्र गूढां श्रियम् सान्द्रानन्दकृता यथा वपुषिवां घर्माम्भसां मालिका वैरिञ्चण्डपरम्परायतयं ताराकृतेर्नृत्यति अखण्डं प्रज्ञानं जगदुदयभङ्गस्थितिगुणम् गुणातीता शक्तेस्तव सहचरी विश्वजननी अनन्तशेषात्मा भवसि च जगद्भारभरितो नदन्नन्तर्भूतेष्वणुरसि महान् सोऽसि भगवन् अविश्लेष्यं त्वत्तः सुचिरमभजं नाथ जगताम् अजानन्नर्धं ते भुवनजननीं प्राणदयिताम् तथाप्यस्येदं मे चरितमपराधं न गणयस् अहो आमन्योन्यप्रथनपटुदाम्पत्यमहिमा तस्मादेनं तव पदजुषं त्वत्कटाक्षोपजीव्यम् नाथ श्रीमन्कुशलकरणं साधु सन्धाय जीया सा ते सक्ता मयि तव जने बिभ्रति कार्यभारम् दृष्टेर्जीयात् भुवनजयिनी सर्वसाम्राज्यलक्ष्मी A very happy birthday to all of you on the occasion of Panditji's 104th birth anniversary. As on every year, it is an occasion for all of us to gather in gratitude, in remembrance, and in renewal of all that we received and all that must yet be done. On these occasions, we also try to bring out something special, and this year we have something of a bonanza of 3 books of Panditji, which are practically new, as you will find out with the introduction that we will have shortly. One of them is entirely new. 2 are coming out in this form for the first time. And all 3 are related to the fact that this year is Sri Aurobindo's 150th anniversary. And so this has become a special focus in the collective consciousness. For the action of the divine Shakti and the divine grace, the year or even the day is not important, because the divine is infinity, eternity at each moment, at each instant. But for the human mind, and especially in the collective consciousness of humanity, these days have a special significance and form a kind of a rhythm in which the mind opens to receive more easily, or at least pays attention or remembers. And this being Sri Aurobindo's 150th anniversary, we find all over the world, particularly in India, everybody wakes up, yes, something important, he was there, and the government starts doing things with the number 150 everywhere. For the divine grace, it is an occasion, it is an opportunity, because the collective mind turns to receive. And if we can catch that moment, sometimes a seed can be implanted. And the intention of all 3 books is in that direction. The first 2 of these books are unusually connected to one person who is present here, Srinivasan, who is in a sense the originator of both of these books. So I would like to invite Srinivasan to share his recollection, please come, and to introduce the backstory of both of these books, because only he knows them as deeply. Even I don't have the full story. Please come.
Pranams to the mother, pranams to Sri Aurobindo, pranams to Sri Kapari Shastriyar, and a loving pranams to Sri Madhav Pundalik Pandit. It's a very unique occasion that we are able to bring out Sri Panditji's works in this 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo. 2 of them, 2 of the 3 books being released today, are intimately connected with Sri Aurobindo. One is the biography of Sri Aurobindo, the other are chosen epigrams from Sri Savitri by Sri Aurobindo. Right through from August, September last year, somehow I was getting a message that the epigrams need to be expanded. Though in the year 1990s, Sri Pandit had told me, saying that he has written what all he has to write. So in a sense, at that time I did not get the message he was trying to wind up his literary works. It never occurred to me. But he told clearly, saying what all I have to write, I have written. So this set me thinking, so if he has written everything, then you will have to find out where is what. So when I read the epigrams, I started the count. The epigrams number 774. He has made a selection of 774 epigrams from Savitri and codified from A to Z. Each one of them stand alone. It opens a vista of thought, of light, of power, of realization. The first of them is all can be done if the God touch is there. Such perennial sayings, eternal sayings, each epigram has a context. Sri Aurobindo has used epigrams in Savitri and embedded them in the narrative lines. Madhavji had chosen the epigram because they can stand alone, they can give an insight, they can give you a lead and light. And he has also used these epigrams embedded in the passages in the readings in Savitri. So it occurred, maybe Pandit-ji was desiring that the theme should be integrated. So we try to take out the epigram, searched out in the passage in the Savitri, and then from the Savitri book, went back into the readings and found out the relevant passage. So the passage has also something topical, contextual. It has also got some permanent value. So the two were wedded together. So that is one publication which has come. So in a sense, it is Sri Aurobindo's work, Sri Panditji's work. It's merely, we have not been editing. It is only presenting the thing. So the first part of it is what Sri Panditji said he has already written. So it is for us to draw what best we can take out. So that is the origin of epigrams. Regarding the second one, which is more important, the intimate biography of Sri Aurobindo, I still remember in the year 1980, he was sitting there under that corner. Then he called me and said, the publication division had asked me to write a biography of Sri Aurobindo. So I am sending it to them. You please follow up. That's what he said. I was working in Delhi at that time. I didn't have a clue as to why he chose me to ask to do this or how best it go. I had no introduction, no forward or backward linkages. Somehow he said that you do this work. So I followed up. The director of the division changed. There was a delay. They assigned one editor. That changed. The second editor came. He took his own time. But one word which Panditji said while telling me is that, Srinivasan, due to the active guidance and help of Sri Aurobindo, I have completed this work in 2 months. Very emphatically he said that. That was ringing in my ears. So, the first biography of Sri Aurobindo written by K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar, when it was presented to Sri Aurobindo, he said, my life on the external front is not for people to perceive. They do not know the inner details. Contrasted with that, when Panditji says, due to the active guidance and help of Sri Aurobindo, I have done this work. So the work assumes tremendous significance. No wonder the title now is An Intimate Biography. He has done all the typing by himself, Madhavji. And the entire passages, quotations, references, everything has been done in order as the way the original manuscript stood. During the course of the editorial, it was a very pathetic story. They said you will not have immediate quotations like Kena Upanishad or Mandukya Upanishad at the beginning of chapters. So I had no way of checking them. Then they said that every page has a footnote. It is not possible. Then I said we have to have a saving. Therefore, chapter wise, I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put it to the end. I'll put it as an annexure, as a reference, as in chapter wise. So that was saved. Then subsequently, marginal chiseling they started doing it. So I befriended the editor. He was very cooperative. One, he was not wanting to do much work, to be honest. So that helped me, saying that about 70 to 80% of the writing was saved. Then subsequently, when it went to the press, that was a very travesty of circumstances. 3 times the proofs came. I used to see the proofs. Still the corrections will not be carried out. 3 times over. Then I said, let me go to the press. And imagine, it is something like a small outhouse. Small outhouse like this. Somebody has kept a press. They have got a contract. They compose manually. Computer was not available. They compose manually And after the 20 pages are over, they completely take out the letters, then go for the next 20 pages. So there is no way they could correct. So I went to the director. They said that only 3 times we can do this. So it had a lot of howlers. It was already 1982 end. The script had gone to the press, to the government on 1980. Till 1982 end, this struggle was going on. So Panditji also wrote to me, Srinivasan, what is this status? It's about 2 years, it's about 3 years. So he said, I explained all this to him. Ultimately, the publication did come out. There were a lot of mistakes for which I should take responsibility. Like Sri Aurobindo landed in Mumbai, Apollo Bandar, in 1983 they had put, instead of 1893. In another page, Barindra Kumar Ghosh is pronounced as brain, B-R-A-I-N, brain. There's no way, because the whole thing was composed. He said, all right, go ahead. But magnanimous he was. I told him saying all this has happened. But he said, Srinivasan, with love, he autographed and gave the book to me. He was very happy. Then he said, one book is being sold every day at the ashram. If one book is sold. Then he said, can this be translated into Hindi because it will reach a larger audience? So the larger audience, Ravindra ji of Panditji ashram, we approached and ultimately they gave. So the Hindi also publication came through. And Sri Panditji wanted to dedicate the book to Sri A.B. Purani. He said that he had helped all the biographers. So we inserted that. The editorial board said, you cannot, this is a government publication, you can't dedicate to somebody. So that was what was Panditji's wish, to dedicate this book to Sri A.B. Purani. That has been done now. And mind you, the book was to be released, I was very particular, it should be released in 1983, August 15th, which is birthday of Sri Aurobindo. So on 8th or 9th, I think, if I remember right, I got at least a sample of 3 books to be bundled, packed, and to be reached to Panditji for release on August 15th. So one Mr. Bharadwaj, he ran as an Aurobindo center there, he offered to reach the book to to Panditji. On the 13th night, I went to his house. But as anti-divine forces are little people play, little glooms pay, I went to a different sector, not the correct house. So till night 11 o'clock with the book I wanted, I could not reach it. Next day I got the correct address. Morning 6 o'clock I reached Sri Bharadwaj's place. But Bharadwaj said, my father has already left for Pondicherry. Who was to carry the book? He said, all right, I will reach it through somebody. He reached through the airport. One gentleman was retained. He took the copy and he came. En route, the car broke down. Ultimately, it reached Madhavji. Despite all the objections, it reached Madhavji. Madhavji released the book in this place. Of course, I was not present. I was in Delhi. He wrote to me all this. So this book was released, but he said it could have come in a better shape. So this was also running in my mind. What better way than to bring out a complete version as guided, as inspired by Sri Aurobindo, was 150th anniversary of Sri Aurobindo. So I spoke to Shraddhaluji. Then he says the original manuscripts are there. So the original manuscripts had come. So this is the title is Intimate Biography, because it is Sri Aurobindo inspired, Aurobindo guided, Aurobindo helped biography. Once he has said nobody is not on the surface of men to see, but he has himself given the clue, given to Sri Pandit, and that has come. So that is one. So these two, we are very happy that this is coming. Notwithstanding, he said, I have written what all I had to write. So it is for us to dig up what better way to present, what better way to read, what better way to reach to people. So on a personal note, Sri Madhavji had the complete presence and personification of the mother. He had, on the integral yoga, he had done the yoga of works, yoga of knowledge, yoga of love, yoga of self-transformation, self-perfection, yoga of transformation. To me, he appears as a vibhuti of the mother. And I read somewhere saying that when the mother blessed him, he asked, "What is your aim?" He said, "Love." And she said, "That you already have." He said, "No, love for everyone, love to manifest your love." So that has been the main theme of his life. His life and works has kindled the light, spiritual light, in many of us. And people who have been fortunate to know him, people who have been fortunate to have his correspondence, people who have been fortunate to read his works are all in touch. And he has no personal group or anything. All his works, all his effort is only towards the mother. And I could not help feeling a small line from Savitri I will read. This admirably fits in. He says, probably the Savitri's lines mother must have impressed on him. He says, "Forever love, O beautiful slave of God." He's a slave of God. "My creatures shall demand me from thy heart," which is correct. Every time you think of him, it reaches the mother. "Thou shalt not shrink from any brother's soul." He has never reserved himself. He has been very open. He has been very helpful to people. "Thou shalt be attracted helplessly to all." It is not as though you pick and choose. It is a grace that grows. It's a compassion. It is more than compassion. It is grace. He says, "Thou shalt be attracted helplessly to all." It's not as though on calculation basis. "Men seeking thee shall find my hands of joy." Whomsoever is touching you are touching the mother's hands. "All that thou hast shall be for others' bliss." So his life is a succinct example of human life being life divine. On this occasion, our obeisance, our renewed pranams to him.
Srinivasan, Srinivasan, Srinivasan. Just one minute, just wait. Just. The first copy of Sri Aurobindo's biography, I would like Srinivasan to gift it to Indira Amma, and she represents Rajgopalji and all the family and the center and all the devotees from Chennai. And I want to also give a brief background from my side of both of these books. Stay. You see, when Panditji wrote this in 1980, and Srinivasan was in the government, and because of his intervention, what we got as a printed copy then was close enough. Although, as you have heard the story, it was quite a edited version. And fortunately, this is one of the rare exceptions, Panditji had kept the original manuscripts here with us. And so from the original manuscripts, we were able to retype the entire book as he wanted initially. And there are at least 20 to 25 pages extra from that edition. Plus, many of the chapters had some quotations in the beginning, which the government had removed. The dedication also. All these things have been restored. Footnotes have been put. And I recall when each time the proofs came, Panditji spent days preparing the index. He was very particular for the index to be there. And the keywords for the index he himself had selected, which the government removed entirely in the beginning, and then finally later editions they brought something. So we took pains now with present technology. These things are so much easier. We've taken pains to bring it out exactly as he would want. And I think it is a great satisfaction for Srinivasan to see this. Finally, the original book coming out after 42 years since Sri Aurobindo wrote it. Since Panditji wrote it. Well, Sri Aurobindo wrote it through Panditji. And so this first copy, the second copy, I would like you to keep. It is Srinivasan's effort just as much to help bring this out. The second book, which he has referred to, Epigrams in Savitri, for both of these books, Srinivasan himself went through the proofs again and again. And particularly for Epigrams, Bharat Kumar did the work of selecting all the text, putting them together, arranging them. I think he's here, Bharat Kumar. It's not coming. Okay, fine. So I would have liked you to give this. And the third book on this occasion is Sri Aurobindo, A Survey. This was written by Panditji in 1972 on the occasion of Sri Aurobindo's centenary. And it was a survey 1872 to 1972. In 100 years, what has happened. What is very special about the book, in a very small size, Panditji has summarized Sri Aurobindo's life, philosophy, yoga, his commentaries and work on the Veda, Upanishads, Gita, Tantra, his writings on Indian culture, social development, on human unity, and on Savitri, and then done a survey of the literature that has grown around Sri Aurobindo, relating to Sri Aurobindo's own writings, suggesting even certain things for the beginners to read, and finally an estimate of Sri Aurobindo's influence on the world. So it's a very small thing in which you get all this. In fact, in a sense, what he has done, he has also summarized or outlined, I will say, because you cannot summarize in such a small amount. He has outlined Sri Aurobindo's synthesis of yoga, his life divine, essays on the Gita, ideal of human unity, human cycle, and so on. So for somebody who asks, well, who is Sri Aurobindo? Why should I appreciate? What is his speciality and genius? This becomes a perfect introduction. And for all of us also, because our minds struggle when we read Sri Aurobindo, or even when we read Panditji's writings, the scope is so large. Our minds struggle to hold it in a single vision. And something like this, which is so compact, makes it easy for the mind to appreciate the full scope of it. We also get a glimpse of the circumstances in 1972 during Sri Aurobindo's centenary. And we have kept the text as it was, although now certain things have changed. But we have kept the text as it was, and it becomes also a historical document at the same time. And so this is the third book which we are releasing. We'll keep it here on the table for display. And I would like to gift the epigrams in Savitri to Srinivasan for all the work that he has done and the inspiration that has come through him.
It was his work.
Yes, it was. And of course this also. You can take your seat. For today, these books will be available in Panditji's office for sale, and as on the festive occasion with a special discount for all of you who would like to take. If you cannot take it today, we'll keep the discount for the rest of the week. We have also put it online, although our facility for online distribution is not yet well settled, but it's available online also with the same discount for the rest of this week. Epigrams in Savitri, just to highlight the importance of this book also. Each Panditji writes, each epigram can be received on many levels, on a literary level, as a means of mental illumination, as a means of spiritual realization, or as a means of spiritual experience, or as a yogic realization. These are the four categories or four levels on which each of these can be experienced. In the selection that has been made, Srinivasan took the portions from Sri Aurobindo's commentary on these, which can be an aid or as a starting point for the dwelling of the experiences on these four levels. For today, as on every birthday, we will also go to the equivalent or the closest to Sri Aurobindo's room, because the room is closed. We will sit under Sri Aurobindo's room. I often think of it in this way. Sri Aurobindo's presence does not stop with a wall or with a layer of cement. It radiates intensely, worldwide. But when you're seated below his feet, at his feet or a little below makes no difference, we will gather at the meditation hall under Sri Aurobindo's room. And I would suggest that all of you who would like to come for that meditation to come at about 9:25. We will make a special request to allow everybody to come into the meditation hall. And from 9:30 to 9:45 we will have a meditation. And in case there is some difficulty and one never knows, and they don't allow us inside, we will sit near the Samadhi and have the meditation there. So that will be the program for after this. And the evening, those of you who are in Pondicherry, we have the meditation from 7 to 7:30. You are most welcome to attend if you like. Or during the day, anytime, feel free to come and sit in concentration. As we did last year also, we will have a little slideshow of some of Panditji's photographs, which will be running, which we will start in a short while. So you can sit here whenever you like. For now, we will have a short concentration, and after that you are invited to partake of the prasad, as on every year. We have brought out the special message card. This year, the theme of the message card is a little different, as you will see. The theme being Sri Aurobindo, our concentration on Sri Aurobindo is not complete unless we concentrate on his power that manifests. The divine Mahashakti, which is the Supreme Lord flowing as power, as knowledge, as love, light, bliss, pouring out in a dynamic manifestation, dynamic movement of self-creation. To concentrate only on Sri Aurobindo separately is to miss this entire aspect that is the Divine Mother. And it is in the union of the two that we have the fullness of their creation. And therefore that is the theme of the message card for today, the united two who initiate the new age, for which all of us took birth. Whether we remember it consciously or not, whether we are aware of it in our surface or not, our souls remember because our souls chose. The choice itself was made long ago to participate in the new creation, for which we have gone through many centuries of preparation to bring us to this point. And to remind ourselves of the mother's words, she said to the children and the sadhaks in the playground, she said, all of you were promised that when the time came for the divine fulfillment, you would be given a chance. And then she says, you may not remember, but I remember. And that is the promise that she has fulfilled. We have all been given the chance. We have all been brought here to their feet. We have all been given the revelation of the divine reality. The divine splendorous manifestation that is waiting to be realized. And the means to realize it has been given to us. The power and the knowledge to attain to this realization in this very lifetime has also been given to us. What we make of it is for us now, to choose and then to act. Their help is always there whenever we ask for it or whenever we open to receive it. And so this is one of those occasions when we remind ourselves of why we came here on earth, what is the opportunity that has been given to us, and what steps we need to take in our lives to prioritize our lives for fulfillment of the opportunity given. We are not alone in our effort. We are together as a spiritual family. Here physically present, globally present in consciousness, all aligned to the same goal. And so, as we make an effort, we receive the support of others who make effort, and our support also extends to them. But most of all, the Divine Mother pours into us, not only individually, but as a collective container. In the Veda, they speak of the human being as a container, but it is an individual container. We are also a collective container, and especially in the integral yoga, the collective effort and the collective transformation is an absolute necessity. It is one of the special features of the integral yoga. And therefore the collective container itself into which they pour all the help, this container is also being formed, and we participate in it consciously or unconsciously. And this is one of those special occasions that allows us to gather and concentrate collectively. And therefore, for the next few minutes, we will all sit in concentration on this theme, on the special occasion that this represents, Sri Aurobindo's 150th anniversary and the Divine Mother and Sri Aurobindo's dual avatar. And here we are as the spiritual family. We will all unite in aspiration as we chant Om together 3 times and then sit in concentration for a while. And perhaps continue the theme of meditation for the rest of the day and hopefully for the rest of our lives. Om